What's up guys, Dark Ruler here, aka Blackheart909. Today we're going to be playing Binary Domain on the Steam Deck, and we're going to be aiming for 90 Hertz, and I'm going to be trying to run everything on the highest settings at first. Now this game does not have a setting screen in-game, so we have to do it outside the game, and we're running at native resolution, MLA anti-aliasing, so that's like a multi-layered anti-aliasing. I don't know if I'm right about that or not, but we're also going with maximum shadow quality and high settings to begin with. Let's go for save and quit and boot into the game. So let's see if I can manage. So let's go into play. Oh, we're back here. Quit. And how do I get the properties? There we go. Play binary domain. Okay, so now we're gonna boot straight into the game. Alright, so I've installed this game in my SD card, seeing as how it's an older generation game, and older generation games were not really memory bandwidth heavy. They weren't really dependent on it too much, so it's fine to play off an SD card. You don't really run into any streaming issues. The loading times are, well, not as fast as they could be off an SSD. They're still pretty fast, and you don't really run into too many loading issues, especially with older games. So let's see how it performs. Everything's maxed out. Let's go over this. Okay, so one thing about binary domain is they're kind of capped to 60 FPS. So regardless of if you set your settings to 90, it's mostly capped to 60 FPS. And if you want to get 0 frame drops, you might have to lower either the shadow quality settings or the SSAO settings. I have them on the highest possible setting, and you can see it runs fairly well, to be honest. It's not that bad. You do get some frame drops like you did in the beginning, like we had like a 57 FPS reading at one point. I don't think that's too much concern, but if you want to smooth things out a little bit, you could definitely go for SSAO on medium, or pick FXAA as your anti-aliasing solution. However, I feel like the game is extremely sharp this way, and the frame rate is more than acceptable. Now, my favorite way to play games on the Steam Deck while I'm at home is basically just running the games on my PC and using this app called Moonlight and Sunshine to stream it. So I'll be doing a video on Moonlight and Sunshine where I'm streaming some Nintendo Switch emulated games, but that's a video for another, that's a topic for another video. So I'm just clearing past these enemies, getting into the thick of the action as quickly as I can. Do I have any grenades? No, I don't think so. Now, when Binary Domain came out, I really wanted to buy the game, but it was not very widely available in stores. So I didn't really get a chance to play it besides the demo on the PlayStation 3. And if you guys played around that time when the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 console wars were at its peak, you'll probably remember that most multi-platform games ran way better on Xbox 360. Most of them, not every single one, but just using the cell architecture of the PlayStation 3 was a challenge for developers at that time. Also, Another nitpick I have about binary domain on Steam Deck is the buttons don't really synchronize that. I mean, the button layout or the command prompts. What am I even saying? As you can see, there's PC options over here. It says press F. There's no F key on the Steam Deck. So in terms of overall playability, I'd say it's a super well optimized game at this point. It's quite old. Binary Domain, let me just check when it came out. Came out all the way back in the 27th of April 2012. So it's quite an old game. It's more than 12 years old now. Oh, almost got me. But that doesn't mean it's not a fun game anymore. Far from it. The destruction physics, breaking your opponent's limbs, all that stuff still feels as good as it used to back in the day. I wish more games do destruction, because besides Red Faction Guerrilla and a little bit of the finals, you don't really get too much destruction in games. And I think that's because destruction is quite CPU heavy. And only now are we seeing a shift where we're getting more SSD heavy games and memory bandwidth and CPU heavy games, which is good for complexity in my opinion. And hopefully we see people doing more destruction physics soon. I remember Crackdown had a really impressive demo where Microsoft showed off some cloud processing, but that never really came to light the way most people wanted it to, or at least the way I wanted it to, where you can see granular destruction on a really, really big scale and a small scale as well. Like, I'd love if these tiles were destructible 100%, if the forklift was destructible. Ooh, he just punched me in the head. Help me, big bow. So as you can see, it runs fairly decently. It runs actually perfectly at 60 FPS on the Nintendo Switch. On the Steam Deck OLED, I would bet top dollar that the Steam Deck regular, the LCD version, runs just as good. If you run into any problems, I would suggest lowering the shadow resolution or SSAO, but I don't think it's completely necessary. Anyway guys, I hope you found this video useful. Do let me know if you want to see other videos on the Steam Deck OLED on games that are not very frequently tested, or your favorite games, and I can try to optimize them for 60 FPS. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.